and I'm happy to be with you today to lead this webinar on conducting management review meetings. The WVU Industrial Extension Team is part of a national network of manufacturing extension partnerships, with each state having at least one center. As a smaller state, West Virginia has just one center, which is located in the Statler College of Engineering at WVU in Morgantown. So our team partners with small and medium-sized manufacturers in West Virginia to support operational improvement and business growth. As part of West Virginia University, the group serves the university's land grant mission by functioning as a state industrial extension. As West Virginia's affiliate to the NIST/MEP National Network, we are part of a nationwide program of centers tasked with supporting the manufacturing community. This unique arrangement provides us the opportunity to support the manufacturing community from a national, state, and local level. The group focuses on developing consulting services that reflect client needs, provide hands-on education, and work one-on-one with our clients to deliver practical solutions in the area of workforce, occupational health and safety, management systems, operational improvement, advanced manufacturing, leadership and development, and innovation and growth services. And before we get started, just a couple of reminders. Please make sure that your devices are muted. If you would like to submit a question, feel free to use the chat box during the presentation. We will review and respond to submitted questions at the end of the presentation, as well as make time for any additional questions. So today we're going to talk about a wonderful subject, management review. So who doesn't love an exciting management review meeting, right? Personally, I've had the privilege of preparing for and leading more than 60 management review meetings in the last 5 years, and many more throughout my career. So I can say from experience that there's nothing more exciting than 30 or 40 slides sharing the wonders of management review. Of course, I'm kidding, but as a precursor for those of you who may not be familiar, today I'll reference guidelines and requirements provided by ISO, or the International Organization for Standardization. ISO is an independent, non-governmental international organization with a membership of 164 national standards bodies. It brings together experts to share knowledge and develop voluntary, consensus-based, market-relevant international standards that support innovation and provide solutions to global challenges. Many organizations globally choose to certify their management systems to international standards, and in many cases, it's a requirement of doing business. If your organization is certified to ISO 9001, much of what I will review today is a requirement of the standard. If you're not certified, these strategies will definitely still add value to your organization. Now, with the commercial break over with, let's review today's agenda. Regularly reviewing your management systems and assessing performance is certainly beneficial and includes some very valuable information. Whether your business has a structured, certified quality management system, or you've chosen to develop your own internal methods to monitor your processes, getting the right people together to review pertinent information so that they can make informed decisions regarding the direction of your program is necessary to ensure that your business continues to evolve and improve. In today's call, I'll be discussing what management review really entails, why you should conduct reviews, so what's the value, what topics should be discussed, and what relevant information should be shared for each topic. How often reviews should be held? Is there a set frequency? What is the expected result of the review? So what's the benefit of spending your valuable time to go through this process? Now, what is management review? Well, it's a formal, structured meeting that includes top management and takes place at regularly scheduled intervals throughout the year. The objective is to review the organization's quality management system in order to ensure its continuing suitability, adequacy, effectiveness, and alignment with the strategic direction of the organization, while also addressing possible needs for changes to the company's quality policy, objectives, targets, and other elements of the quality management system. So why hold management review meetings? To quote author Jim Stovall, "You need to be aware of what others are doing, applaud their efforts, acknowledge their successes, and encourage them in their pursuits. When we all help one another, everybody wins." As I mentioned earlier, the objective is for top management to review and assess the organization's quality management system and to provide feedback and suggestions to foster improvement. It's also important to recognize the positive contributions of the process and its owners. Now, what all of that actually means is the top management, functional managers, facility managers, line managers, process owners, process users, and action owners are represented with a goal of determining if the management system in its current form is sufficient to, 1, achieve expected results, 2, meet organizational requirements, i.e., are policies and objectives suitable, 3, operate as intended, 4, identify and adequately resolve any issues that may impact the business or its customers, and 5, to continuously improve your processes. So how often should you meet? Meeting format, frequency, and interval are all really determined by the organization. You decide what is relevant to your business and what adds value. With regard to meeting frequency, some management standards require meetings to be held annually at a minimum, while others do not prescribe a frequency. IATF 16949, for example, is the automotive industry standard. It contains the same requirements as ISO 9001, but expands nearly every clause with additional requirements and guidance. It requires meetings at least annually, while ISO 9001 has no such requirement and simply says at planned intervals. The general expectation is annually, at a minimum, with the schedule being defined as part of your management system. Many organizations choose to hold meetings more than once a year, preferring to meet quarterly or even monthly. A typical review meeting can cover a lot of important performance data and trends, so getting together once a year is likely too infrequent for most businesses. It's a good idea to consider increasing the frequency of meetings if risk of compliance with customer requirements increases due to changes that impact the quality management system or there are performance-related issues. You may also decide to have standalone management reviews or combine them with other business activities such as strategy planning, business planning, operations meetings, or customer requirement reviews. And there is no rule requiring a full agenda review with each meeting, nor is there a need to duplicate effort if you cover certain aspects as part of other management meetings. Whatever schedule you establish, it's important to do so well in advance so that participants are able to ensure attendance. So let's take a quick poll. Does your organization currently hold management review meetings? Yes, annually. Yes, quarterly. Yes, monthly. Or no, we don't currently hold meetings. So it looks like a lot of you do hold meetings. And it's a toss-up between annually and monthly. And some don't actually do them right now. So this is a good opportunity to learn. So, as with many aspects of business, planning and preparation are very important to assure an effective and efficient management review meeting. Management reviews are intended to help you achieve maximum value from your management system and should be chaired by the member of senior management who has overall responsibility for the management system, typically the company's quality director or manager. This person is accountable for scheduling, convening, leading, and reporting on management reviews. The chairman will need to determine what team members should attend and who will be responsible for taking meeting minutes. In addition, data required as inputs to the meeting will need to be coordinated. This information will come from different departments, so the chair will need to coordinate with department managers in advance to ensure that all necessary information is available and up to date and a presentation is prepared. ISO standards do not require a documented meeting schedule. However, the standard does say at planned intervals, so a documented schedule is a good way to provide evidence of the plan. A meeting agenda can vary depending on a company's needs and the meeting format. As I mentioned earlier, if you choose to hold multiple meetings each year, each meeting's agenda does not necessarily need to cover every item. The key is to cover each item at some point throughout your meeting cycle with increased attention to those items that are not achieving the expected target. However, it's likely that most organizations will decide that every topic is worth reviewing at each meeting and will choose to review a full agenda. And realistically, if you feel like the information you're reviewing is a waste of time, it's probably not necessary to be recording or reviewing it. So what should be reviewed and discussed during the meeting? If your organization has an ISO 9001 certified management system, there is a specific list of required inputs and outputs, but additional items are certainly welcome as your team deems necessary. The required inputs include 1, the status of actions from previous management reviews, 2, changes in external and internal issues that are relevant to the quality management system, 3, information on the performance and effectiveness of the quality management system. This particular requirement actually includes 7 trends, which I'll review in a moment. Also required, 4, the adequacy of resources, 5, the effectiveness of actions taken to address risks and opportunities, and 6, opportunities for improvement. Required outputs are 1, opportunities for improvement, 2, any need for changes to the quality management system, and 3, any resource needs. So some of these inputs and outputs are fairly straightforward and easy to understand, but for others, I'll clarify a bit. Status of actions is pretty easy to understand. As issues or opportunities are identified in meetings, it's important to document what actions need to be taken in response, who is responsible, and a timeline for completion. Then, track and update progress. So what does relevant internal and external issues refer to? Well, it could be government regulations or law changes, economic shifts in the organization's market, competition, events that affect corporate image, or even technology changes. Basically, it's those things that management may be aware of, but probably hasn't put on paper. Adequacy of resources, broadly speaking, means the adequacy of facilities and equipment, as well as the means and ability of employees to fulfill the organization's current and future plans. So, do your employees have the facility and tools necessary to get their work done effectively and efficiently? Although risks and opportunities have to be determined and addressed, it doesn't require a formal documented risk management process. You need to ensure that your organization develops a process, such as brainstorming, that enables you to effectively identify risks and opportunities with respect to the planning of the quality management system. Once identified, it's a matter of determining and implementing mitigation actions. So previously, I mentioned that performance and effectiveness of the management system included 7 trends. And while there may be many more metrics that can be used to evaluate performance, those required by ISO 9001 include 1, customer satisfaction and feedback from relevant interested parties. Customer satisfaction can be solicited through surveys or can be from unsolicited emails or customers expressing appreciation or concern. Interested parties are those that add value or are impacted by the activities of the organization. This can include customers, end users, suppliers, regulators, as well as people within the organization, such as owners and shareholders, or even society at large. 2, the extent to which the quality objectives have been met means simply measuring progress against established goals. 3, process performance and conformity of products and services. So is your quality process working according to the plan, or isn't it? 4, nonconformities and corrective actions. Nonconformities, of course, are failures to meet the standard and may come to light due to customer complaints, poor or adverse results, and trends from monitoring, reviews, assessments, or inspections. The goal is to develop actions that prevent recurrence. 5, monitoring and measurement results. This differs from process performance in that we are now considering the product rather than the process. Does product conform to the specification? Are there excessive failures? Things of that nature. 6, audit results. What nonconformities have been identified? Trending this information is an indication of whether the quality management system is improving or not. 7, the performance of external providers. This is a review of your suppliers. Are they performing as expected, or are you having supplier quality issues? These categories include those KPIs that your organization feels are important. Metrics like asset and capacity utilization, loss to yield, cycle times, labor costs, on-time delivery. The list goes on, but what matters are the metrics that let you know that your business is performing month after month and year on year. The goal is to determine if you're improving, and if you aren't, to determine why you aren't and develop actions to correct it. So what are some additional input ideas that warrant inclusion? Cost of poor quality. So the cost associated with poor quality products and services such as appraisals, failures, and rework costs. Measures of process efficiency. How well a process delivers product or service without generating waste. Measures of process effectiveness. So how relevant is the output compared to the desired objective? Product conformance. The ability of product to meet design specifications. Assessments of manufacturing feasibility. So is a process technically able to meet customer or product requirements? Performance against maintenance objectives. So ensuring that your maintenance efficiency increases asset life and improves productivity. Warranty performance. Are warranty claims costs excessive? Customer scorecards. If customers choose to provide them, in many cases they do not report supplier performance. Potential field failures. These are determined by a risk analysis such as an FMEA or actual field failures, which are reported from customer complaints and things of that nature. These are all topics that are relevant to the business and can add value to the conversation. So what result should an organization expect from management review? The purpose of management review and the outcome should be continual improvement of the quality management system, including quality-related policies, procedures, work instructions, and so on. Identifying opportunities for improvement during the meeting and through other activities such as internal audits will help to develop actions needed for systemic improvement and for targeting needed resources. In addition, you will develop actions to improve failed performance targets. So as your organization's quality management system improves in effectiveness and efficiency, your organization's policies and procedures will improve and process performance will likewise increase. So how should the management review process be documented? As mentioned, a schedule is not required. However, the standard does require documented information as evidence of results. Meeting minutes that include what was discussed, opportunities for improvement that were identified, actions raised, and data that was reviewed is beneficial. Maintaining a list of attendees is also a good idea. The management review procedure is not mandatory for ISO 9001 certification. However, it is useful for the business to develop and implement a management review procedure that defines management review responsibilities, scheduling, inputs, and outputs, such as minutes or actions. So let's take another quick poll. How do you think management review would most benefit your business? Increase top management awareness, improve policies and procedures, improved process performance, or increased customer satisfaction? So it looks like we have a mix. Increased top management awareness kind of leads the way, followed by improved policies and procedures and improved process performance. So kind of a mix of responses there, but those should all be outcomes of the process. So the real value is communication and awareness, ensuring that top management is aware of what's happening in the process, including the need for improvements and additional resources, allowing them to make sure those needs are met and that employees have the means and ability to be effective in their roles. There may be times when we feel like we need an arc, but as long as we learn to swim all together, no problem is insurmountable. So before we wrap up, let's consider our original discussion points for the day. The goal was to understand management review, the benefits, and how you might apply the process in your business. I've reviewed the process, inputs and outputs, as well as data you might want to review as part of the agenda. The goal is to identify where you have opportunities to improve and what risks might negatively impact your business. Then develop actions to capitalize on the opportunities and mitigate the risks. As you implement actions, your QMS and processes will also continuously improve in efficiency and effectiveness. From there, you just reach for the stars. Now let's reconsider why. We reviewed the agenda items that help meet requirements of the standard and expected outcomes and actions. But what else makes conducting management review worthwhile? It's important that conducting management review is not viewed as checking a box. Management review should be seen by leadership as adding value to the quality management system by doing its due diligence. For example, the intent is not to say internal audits were performed on May 15th, 2020, The intent is for the organization's management team to review audit results and determine opportunities to improve the business based on those findings. In addition, they should be determining how best to mitigate risks that are brought to light. Understanding the standard does not actually use the word meeting, but rather requires management review. The intent is to provide top management with relevant data and information to review and consider its acceptability, including determining if there are any gaps to be addressed. Management should note changes that have been made in the quality management system or changes that are needed. For example, does the quality management system still support the strategic direction of the organization? Have the requirements of interested parties changed? Have corrective actions found the root cause of problems, or have corrected problems been repeated? Have complaints been adequately addressed? Have there been any changes in statutory requirements? These are the types of outputs that should be expected from management review. As an additional step, once a review of the information is complete, publish the results to communicate to the entire organization. Everyone is part of the team and should be made aware of the work that is being done to improve the organization. And that's it for today. So if we have any questions, we'll start reviewing those now.
Yeah, great job, Mark. I did get a few questions in the chat, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to go ahead and start entering those in the chat now, and we'll get to them. One of the questions was, how do you audit effectiveness of management review process?
So auditing the process is part of the internal audit system. Management review is a requirement of the ISO 9001 standard and the IATF 16949 standard, and it does list the inputs and the outputs that I discussed. So those are a requirement of the standard and therefore should be reviewed as part of the internal audit process.
Okay, great. Here's another one. What does the WVU Industrial Extension offer in this area?
So we can support organizations with management review process, helping to either lead or develop your process for you. So we could join you and work together to develop a system if you so desire.
Great, great. And one more again, go ahead and type them in the chat there if you have questions. Can you apply this to productivity and safety?
Yes, those areas and other areas of the business, anything that has a metric associated with it that you want to monitor can all be included in the management review process. So the presentation is not strictly limited to quality, but should include performance as a whole. So how your production is working, how you're meeting metrics, things of that nature should all be included.
Okay, great. Well, that's all the questions I see for now. So I say it every time, but oh wait, just a thank you. So you're welcome. and I want to thank everybody. This has been great. Our attendance has been steadily increasing with each webinar, and trending up, I would say. So thanks so much for joining us. Tell your friends, and hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday for problem solving. Thanks again, Mark.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jamie.